Chinese army has conducted a live firing drill in Tibet amidst ongoing border standoff with India at the Dokalam area in Sikkim. The exact venue, timing and date of the drill is unclear, but this weekend's reports seem to indicate that this is China's muscle flexing in Tibet. The People's Liberation Army conducted these live fire drills to test their combat readiness. The PLA has one of its two mountain brigades on the Tibetan plateau under the Tibet military command of the Western Theatre. The video was released by the China Central Television. The same Western Theatre command had conducted an armored brigade drill at roughly 16,000 feet altitude in Tibet to test their new battle tanks. The exercise appeared to be different from the previous exercise where Type 96 battle tanks were used. But sources in India seem to indicate that this is muscle flexing by China. Is there reason to be concerned? I want to quickly cut across to India Today's Anant Krishnan for more. Anant, how rare are these kinds of drills that the PLA has carried out? What does this mean?
Well, that's right. It is pretty rare. We have to remember this is the second exercise in Tibet this month that's been reported. On July 3rd, as we reported, there was an exercise with the T-96 battle tank. And this appears to be a new exercise that focuses on live fire drills, anti-aircraft guns and artillery that was undertaken by one of the two mountain brigades that's under the Tibet military command, which is of course part of the Western Theatre Command. And this brigade is specifically in charge of frontier defense in the eastern sector and focusing on Arunachal Pradesh. So it's very significant which brigade this is that carried out this exercise, and the fact that they're sharing so many details and videos showing them tracking enemy aircraft and using anti-aircraft guns. So it's very clear that this is an intended message amid the Dokalam standoff, and this is further posturing by China and aimed at pressuring India over the standoff.
Now, many experts say this is a part of Chinese mind games to win the war in the mind of the adversary without firing a single bullet. Remember, this firing is happening at a military base, at a Chinese military site where they carry out live firing drills. Can China actually do this in combat? Well, does China have the stomach for it, for long attrition? Let's get to reactions of several experts.
And that is what armies do, and they, do a force projection of that sort. But of course, in the current context, it can't be all, as innocent as just a routine trial or routine exercises. It is obviously some kind of signaling which is also being done. But I think there are some mixed messages which are also coming from the Chinese side. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but the kind of shrill noises that were coming from the Chinese side, now just yesterday or day before, an article in the Global Times now talks about how China does not need to react to India's rise and how, the two countries can work together. Now, at a time like this, for an article like this to come out in Global Times, maybe it means that some kind of a cooling down is taking place.
Tension in the relationship has been building up for a while. But I think you can name NSG, you can name Masood Azhar, you can name a number of different issues that are how India has reacted to the BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative, or the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. But my sense is that this is all essentially symptoms of the larger problem that exists between India and China. And the larger problem that exists between India and China is the question whether China can live with a rising India at the same time. Even a marginal increase in India's influence is seen to be a sort of a competition from the Chinese state. So China does not want to see another peer competitor emerging. Even if it's a marginal rise, they don't want to share that Asian strategic space with other countries. There is a case with Japan, for instance, a new normal Japan, which is defending its own security interests and kind of things. Again, China is very, very skeptical of a Japan that is rising, and that is rising in a sense. So China believes that its rise is a very natural phenomena, and it does not want to be to share that same strategic space with anybody else. That's about it. So at the global level, well, China would multilateralism and kind of things until such time that China becomes the number one position, preponderant power. But until then, they would talk about multipolarity. But at the regional level, China would always want to see a hegemonic power under its leadership, and the rest everybody should fall into place. I think that's the broad point that China has in a sense.